I play poker for a living. So when I got into pickleball, it was really just an extension of my need to try to solve this puzzle, this new game, this new sport that I love, to figure out the right way to play and evolve.
Well, welcome to the future of pickleball. This is the show where we talk to the movers and shakers. We got a good one today. We got a guy that's a pro player, great coach, highly identified in the touring coaching center, and now he's entered into the broadcast stage. I'd like to welcome Kyle McKenzie. Welcome, Kyle.
Well, thank you, Paul, for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. It's been fun to see your path and your track as you've gone through this thing. I've known of what you've been doing with coaching and running a lot of Tyson's camps.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
You know, it's just right place, right time for me. And like you mentioned, it's probably not a traditional path into the pro pickleball world. It's just good fortune for me. I moved to Spokane, Washington about 4 or 5 years ago, and I'd been playing pickleball for maybe 6 months and kind of stalking all the best players in the country because I wanted to know how good I was. So full disclosure, I knew exactly who Tyson was. I had watched multiple of his singles matches, and I wanted to see how close I could get to him. So, I moved to Spokane. He was the tennis and pickleball instructor to the club that was just 5 minutes from my house. I introduced myself to him, and he, and I would have done the same thing, so I'm not ragging on Tyson by any means. He, in a very nice way, blew me off. He didn't know who I was and didn't know if I was going to push him or be worth his time, and he was extremely busy. So I was there for a couple of months, and I think the word got out that I had a little bit of game, and so finally we got out there and we played, and he beat me, and it was somewhat decisive, but it was clearly close enough or at a high enough level where he saw my potential as a player. And so we started becoming training partners. I was eager, I caught the bug, pickleball bug full on. So I was playing a lot. And then as we developed more of a friendship and a mutual respect, I think I just kind of fell into the coaching path with some good opportunities from him.
Now, had you done any coaching prior to that?
You know, what's really weird is I played Division I college tennis, but I was a walk-on, which is a way of saying I had an ugly tennis game, but I just made it work. But I was self-taught. I picked up tennis at the age of 16, which is very late for tennis. So to be even able to play Division I tennis, I felt like was a real accomplishment for me. But I never really taught tennis. I was very nervous because I taught myself tennis. To teach someone else, I didn't know if I would be teaching them something that was a little bit off, right? So I didn't do a lot of teaching tennis, but I have a very analytical mind. And in my early 20s, I played poker for a living. So when I got into pickleball, it was really just an extension of my need to try to solve this puzzle, this new game, this new sport that I love, to figure out the right way to play and evolve. And I started with a lot of confidence in giving people good tactical advice. But with more and more coaching experience, I really started to develop an eye for technique. And I'll have to give Tyson a lot of credit for that. He did teach tennis for a long time. So I think that coming into teaching, he had much more of an eye for the technical side than I did. And I learned a lot from him and kind of developed my own lens for it, as the years went on.
This is, you're being very complimentary. I've been around sports my entire life. People who have the eye, that is not necessarily something learned. So I think you, maybe the combination of your having to teach yourself, becoming a student of the sports that you were in, had to have a factor, because it led now to the point that you're getting broadcast time and you're highly regarded. I hear people complimenting you all the time because you have a great gift for analysis and describing it.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I never expected to really get into the broadcasting. People that know me well, I'm much more of an introvert than an extrovert. I think I can make my point relatively well, or certainly try to, but I'm not the typical person that you would think that really likes the limelight. I love talking about pickleball. I love analyzing it, but I wouldn't say I'm the natural personality you'd normally think would pursue that sort of career path.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you've really got it going on. Something I would like you to talk about a little bit is the camp program that you run nationally. Has gotten to be a very big deal. Tell our viewers a little bit about what you're doing and frankly, where they could find out more about getting involved with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So both Tyson and myself, we started out teaching for Level Up Pickleball camp. So it really helped us kind of get a sense of the camp structure and the flow But when he broke off and wanted to start his own camp company, I was pretty eager to follow and join him. I think the big difference for me and what we were able to come up with together is pickleball's changed so much in the last few years. And so we've really embraced a more modern curriculum that I think that other camps have. And we're willing to make changes and continue to adapt our curriculum as the game changes. So to have the autonomy, to have the freedom to do that has really been a breath of fresh air. And I think so far, reviews for our camps have been overwhelmingly pretty positive.
Now on the camps, do you guys specialize in novices through intermediates through advanced? What should people who are looking to improve their game at what level are ideal for you?
Yeah, so I mean, we really cater our message a little bit compared to the level that's in front of us. So our camps right now, you have the option of signing up as either a 3.0, 3.5 level or a 4.0 plus level. And we do our best to differentiate and segregate the people best they can by levels. So we have different forms and ways of doing that. But when we meet together, we're meeting as one group. So when we're in those discussions, we have to find that line of, we're going to give a little more than the standard for the 4.0 plus players because they're looking for a little more than just basic fundamentals.
Sure.
But at the same time, we're very conscientious of the fact that a 3.0 player or a beginning player is going to get lost if all we do is talk to that higher level. So I think we do a good job of making sure we address all the fundamentals. And we have kind of our own teaching curriculum, our own style of looking at technique and looking at shot selection and giving people some visual ideas of how to kind of keep things like that memorized, where they can kind of have a reference point of what ball should be attacked or not be attacked and what they're looking to do with each shot.
Yeah, very cool. I frankly know quite a few players who have been to many of the camps. Yeah. So you must be doing something right that you keep bringing them back.
Well, and I'm going to give a compliment to Tyson again. I mentioned I'm more of an introvert. I think that I wouldn't say I'm a super boring person, but I'm not. I don't have the charisma that he has. And when I watched him lead, I was able, I assisted him with the first year or so. I was able to really see how valuable making camps fun, bringing energy, not always taking yourself too seriously, and how just sprinkling a little bit of that into when I lead, I think it helps get the message across even better. So I know that I can be more of that scientific, X's and O's person, but not everybody's my personality. So I always want to draw in myself to make sure that I'm trying to be fun as well, because I think people learn more in that environment.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question about that. I want to segue away from the camps a little bit and talk about the pro game. Where are you at right now with how many tournaments are you going to play this year as a pro?
Yeah, so I was probably looking at that 10 tournament range, and I may have to cut that back just a little bit because of the commentary and the broadcasting opportunity. If the PPA continues to want to use me, I think that's an opportunity I don't think I should pass up. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because, the last tournament I played, obviously I had a very good upcoming player in Connor Garnett as a partner, but I think we finished in 6th place, which was a good finish for me in the modern game, and it really felt like my game had really upped a level, or I started to figure things out. But at the end of the day, I'm 37. The new wave of players are getting younger and younger, and I'm not paying the bills with my pro results. So I'm continuing to kind of train at home to make sure that the pro game doesn't pass me by, but not necessarily trying to chase a ranking of, I want to be top 5 or top 10 next year, because it's just not realistic for me to play that many tournaments and develop that many points.
One of the things that we like to do on this show is talk to people like yourself that are deeply involved in the sport. We try and explore, where's the sport going? I want to ask you, what do you see, whether it's on the coaching side or the camp side or the program? Do you see anything in the next 2 to 3 years that you think our viewers might be interested in a forecast on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, there's a growing voice out there, and, I can't fully relate just because I'm a sponsored player, but my wife is not, and she plays a lot of tournaments, and the expense of the travel and the tournaments, it's a great experience, but when you've done it a lot, it really starts, you feel it in your pocketbook a little bit. So I really think that league play is going to start being a bigger thing. I think Duper's done a lot of good things with allowing people to even put their rec games into Duper, so it feels like it has more importance, which it does. And I think that that's going to limit people's need to travel depending on where you live, of course, in order to play against new players. And I think that's what people crave. It's great to play against your foursome that you have at home.
Sure, of course.
But you want to find people that are a comparable level that maybe do some different things on the court and play different styles. So far, people have had to travel for tournaments to find that level. And I think that as more and more players find the sport, with a league play or hometown versus hometown, I think we're going to see a lot more of those wars going forward.
Very cool. I want to say, as we think about, we're sitting here in beautiful Arizona, a beautiful 70-degree day.
It is a perfect day, isn't it? It's nice.
And there's so much going on with the PPA. What's the forecast? We're up to, I think, isn't it about 20, 21, 22 tournaments a year?
Yep.
Is that going to kind of be the set point, do you think, going forward?
I'd be speculating, to be completely honest with you, but I do think that's probably going to be the range going forward. I think that allows these PPA-signed players to be playing often enough where they can have it be a full-time job, but at the same time, giving them the ability to have a life outside of pickleball as well. And I think that range will probably continue, but again, that's just me speculating.
Cool. Well, before we wrap up here, I want to make sure you give people a chance. How do they get in touch with you? How do they find out about your camps?
Yeah, absolutely. So all the camps are listed on TysonMcGuffin.com, and it'll let you know which camps I would be assisting Tyson and which camps that I would actually be the lead for. Going forward, it does look like I'm going to be leading most of them, as Tyson, at least for the next couple of years, is really going to put most of his focus on his playing and his results. And then you can follow me on Instagram. It's kyle.mckenzie.pb, and I try to get more good stuff on there for the folks.
Cool. Well, I told you it was going to be a good one today. Let me tell you, I know an awful lot of people in the game who have taken classes and lessons from this man. Don't miss the opportunity if it comes up. Thanks so much. See you next time.